Example 2 of solving equations with polynomial expressions. So we see we have quite the equation here. We want to take 7x times a quantity, 2x plus 3. And I threw a fraction in here so we could remember how to work with our fractions. We have 5/3 times a quantity, 6x squared minus 9x plus 12, plus 4x squared on the end. So we'll start on the left-hand side as usual. We want to distribute the 7x across the set of parentheses. 7 times 2 would be 14. X would be x squared. 7x times 3 would be 21x. And then as we get to this fraction, remember, you look inside those parentheses and you see that those parentheses are multiples of the denominator. So 6, -9, and 12 are all multiples of the 3. That would allow us to divide then multiply. In other words, 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 5 is 10x squared. In a similar way, -9 divided by 3 is -3. -3 times 5 would be -15x. And then 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 times 5 would be 20. Again, that was 6 divided by 3 was 2. 2 times 5 is 10x squared. -9 divided by 3 was -3. -3 times 5 is -15. And then x comes along for the ride. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. And then I bring this 4x squared down because it wasn't part of the distribution. It wasn't part of that set of parentheses. And just like everything, as I've been teaching you for months now, before you try to move any terms, simplify each side. See what you're working with. On the left-hand side, this is pretty much already simplified. I cannot combine these like terms because an x squared versus an x are different labels. And then on the right-hand side, 10x squared and 4x squared is 14x squared. This is something you're going to be looking for when you're solving these equations in this section of the chapter. These are always going to have to match up, otherwise you don't have the ability to solve them yet. That'll happen in a couple weeks. So this becomes minus 15x plus 20. And the second that I try to move one of these 14x squareds, doesn't matter which one I try to move, they're going to drop out. And I showed you that in the last example. So I'm actually just going to show that those drop out by going to the next line and just say 21x is equal to -15x plus 20. Because as soon as that moves over, it becomes a -14x squared. It's got to drop out. That brings us to what we've been doing for months. We want to get all the x's to one side. So I'm going to move this -15x over to the left. That becomes 21x plus 15x equals 20. 21x plus 15x, of course, is 36x, equaling 20. And then I want to divide both sides by 36. As I divide by 36, I do notice that this becomes x equals 2036, and obviously that reduces down. I'm just going to do this in my head. That would be divide top and bottom by 2, would be 10 over 18, and that can be divided, so it would be 5 over 9. Call it 5/9. And that's a good example for solving polynomial equations.